Well, good morning, everyone. As we all know, the Liberal government is holding its caucus retreat here over the next few days. This is after 9 years of Liberal policies causing untold misery to Canadians in so many ways. This is their 9th year of imposing Justin Trudeau's radical and wacko agenda on Canadians. They've spent over $1.3 million over the years having these types of retreats, and it's all been the same results. Spoiler alert, the same thing's going to happen this week. They're not actually going to come up with any solutions to solve the problems facing Canadians. All they will do is double down on the same failed policies that have caused so much hardship. Let's go through what that hardship looks like. Justin Trudeau's inflationary deficit spending has eroded the power of workers' paychecks, meaning that so many Canadians are falling further and further behind, making difficult choices like whether or not to put food on the table or heat their homes. Stories of mothers watering down milk, seniors skipping meals. That is the reality in Canada after 9 years of Justin Trudeau. Millions of Canadians visiting the food bank, many of them for the very first time in their lives. People with jobs being forced to go to food banks because they literally can't afford to put food on the table. That's after Justin Trudeau's inflationary crisis has eroded the purchasing power of people's paychecks and savings. It's also after his carbon tax has driven up the price of everything. And remember, Justin Trudeau isn't just satisfied with the carbon tax where it is today. His plan is to quadruple the carbon tax. Today, the Canadian Trucking Association put out shocking stats showing that Trudeau's carbon tax cost the economy, just the trucking industry, $2 billion. And that will rise to $4 billion by 2030. That's $4 billion of transportation costs being dumped onto consumers. That means literally anything that has to be shipped into Canada, trucked from one part of the country to another, costs more because of Justin Trudeau's carbon tax. And that's going to go up year after year after year. Our communities aren't just less safe. People are living in fear. Violent crime is up across the board after Justin Trudeau's decision to implement a catch and release policy for bail. We hear this from police associations from coast to coast in every province and almost every city, that the crime wave terrorizing Canadian communities is a direct result of Justin Trudeau's changes to Canada's bail system, making it easier for dangerous and repeat offenders to get back on the street, often the very same day that they're arrested in the first place, only to reoffend. Housing has driven so many Canadians out of their homes. There was a RE/MAX report this week that showed that 14%, 1 out of every 7 mortgage holders in Canada, believe that they will have to sell their home because they won't be able to afford their mortgage renewal. This is a direct result of Justin Trudeau's policies. The Bank of Canada raised interest rates to fight the inflation that Trudeau caused, and now mortgage holders, when they go to renew, are renewing at 2, 3, 5 times the rates that they were able to secure just a few short years ago. Housing costs have pushed people out of their homes. There's a tragic story just the other day of a senior in her 70s being forced to live in a tent because she couldn't afford the rent anymore. This is in Canada after 9 years of Justin Trudeau's government. The hardship is real. The decline in the quality of life for so many Canadians is drastic and stark. And that is not because of factors beyond Justin Trudeau's control or the Liberal Party's control. That is a direct result of their policies. And all they are offering is to double down more and more with the same types of extremist policies that caused this crisis in the first place. Now, we all know the Liberals are in a little bit of turmoil. And my message to Canadians is this: it doesn't matter who is leading the Liberal Party, because this is what they all believe in. We know that Mark Carbon Tax Carney is speaking to the caucus this week. He loves the carbon tax. He said it has served its purpose. Well, if by that he means he likes the fact that Canadians can no longer afford to fill their fridges and put food on the table, then he has to explain that to Canadians. Every single Liberal cabinet minister, every single Liberal MP voted time and time again to raise the carbon tax, to borrow billions more, to keep pushing inflation and keeping it high, and interest rates along with it. It doesn't matter what kind of paint they slap on the Liberal brand or who they're speculating might lead them into the next election. Liberal policies, 9 years of Liberal policies have done this. Mark Carney won't change that direction. Any other Liberal cabinet minister or MP won't change that direction. They all agree with it. They all support those high tax, high spending, high borrowing, inflationary policies. They all support the same policies that unleashed crime and chaos and hard drugs as well. Let's take a look at the Liberal Party and their unexplainable devotion to the idea of providing hard drugs to people who are suffering from addiction. They all support that. They voted time and time again to do it. They supported their government's implementation of a plan that legalized the use of hard drugs in public places like playgrounds and bus stops and even in hospitals, to the point where one union told their nurses that they should avoid breastfeeding if they've been walking through rooms where people have been consuming hard drugs in hospitals. This is 9 years of Liberal policy, and Canadians can only expect more of the same. Justin Trudeau hasn't changed course. The Liberal Party hasn't changed course. Mark Carney isn't promising to change course. All they're talking about is doubling down on the same failed policies that caused all this heartache to Canadians in the first place. Alors, c'est clair cette semaine que les libéraux ne changeront rien. Ils sont tous en accord avec les politiques qui ont causé la crise que fassent tous les Canadiens. La crise d'abordabilité, les prix sans contrôle, élevés sans contrôle, un résultat direct de les politiques inflationnistes de Justin Trudeau et l'augmentation et l'imposition de la taxe sur le carbone. Tous les libéraux en accord avec les politiques qui donnent les droits des criminels avant les droits des Canadiens honnêtes. Tous les libéraux sont en accord avec les politiques qui ont causé la crise de crime et des drogues dures. N'importe qui sera le chef du Parti libéral dans les prochains mois, le résultat va être le même. Les mêmes politiques vont causer le même problème pour tous les Canadiens dans toutes les régions. So that's my message to Canadians today. It doesn't matter what happens at this retreat. It doesn't matter what kinds of comms exercise they go through or what kind of speculation they all entertain about who might lead them in the next election. It's the same failed Liberal policies causing the same hardships for Canadians, pushing so many Canadians out of their homes and so many Canadians to the food bank.
Mr. Scheer,
the contrast, I'll take questions in a moment. The contrast is clear. Only the common sense Conservative Party is offering relief from all this hardship. We're going to axe the tax to bring down prices so that you can afford to eat and heat your home. We're going to fix the budget so that prices can stabilize and interest rates can come down so you can stay in your home. We're going to build the homes by rewarding communities that get new homes built and ensuring that those who don't aren't continually funded year after year after getting poor results. And we're going to stop the crime by taking dangerous and repeat offenders off the street, ending Justin Trudeau's taxpayer-funded experiment with hard drugs in our communities, and once again get Canada back on track and improve the life of all Canadians. Thanks very much.
Mr. Scheer, are you worried about Justin Trudeau quitting and having to face somebody else?
It looks like Mark Carney is going to be appointed as a special advisor to the Liberal leader. I wonder what you think of that.
I believe that is just a smoke and mirrors gimmick. At the end of the day, Mark Carbon Tax Carney loves the same policies that Justin Trudeau has imposed on Canadians. They're basically the same people. Out-of-touch elites that believe that they know better than hardworking Canadians. They believe they know better how to spend your money, the hardworking paychecks that Canadians earn every week. They believe that the carbon tax should be increased. They believe that that criminals should be given preference over law-abiding and honest Canadians. They are basically the same person, and the results won't change in the next. The results for Canadians will not change
But Carney
Are the
worked
Conservatives
closely-
worried that Justin
but
Trudeau's
Carney
going to
just-
quit? Because
Carney worked
you're trying to
closely-
frame them all as the same picture, but Canadians are angry at Justin Trudeau. He's pulling behind his party. Are you worried that you won't have the same competitive advantage if he switches leaders?
Well, let's take a look at why Canadians are angry. They're angry because of the policies causing so much harm. They're angry because every time they go in the grocery store, prices are up again. They're
You're not
angry
worried about
because
Justin Trudeau leaving.
they're angry because when they go to renew their mortgage, they're looking at 2 or 3 times the payment that they had just a few years ago. That's why they're angry. So it doesn't matter who the leader of the party is. It's the policies that have caused the hardship, and that won't change after this retreat. It won't change after this fall session. As long as the Liberals are in power, life will continue to get worse for Canadians.
Excusez-moi, a follow-up on the Carney question. We'll do one and a follow. Can we do one and a follow?
David, we get 3 questions.
One and a follow. Are we in one and a follow?
You guys want to take a minute
Here's the
to...
follow on Carney. Here's the follow on Carney. Is this. Jim Flaherty, Mark Carney, Stephen Harper were like this. They worked closely together to save us in the 08-09 recession. Why wouldn't a guy like Mark Carney be an asset to any prime minister?
Just look at what Mark Carney has said on the carbon tax. He says it's served its purpose. He loves it. He loves the same policies. He loves the same policies that use taxpayer-funded drugs, take taxpayers' money to fund drugs going to our communities. There are reports out of many police associations across the country, police forces across the country, saying they're finding government-produced, government-distributed hard drugs in the community. They're seizing them. So Justin Trudeau's drug policy is causing the drug crisis. Mark Carney supports that. Mark Carney supports all of these extreme policies that have caused so much hardship on Canadians.
Chez les conservateurs, craignez-vous qu'il y ait un changement, s'il y a un changement de chef au Parti libéral, craignez-vous que ça fasse dérailler votre plan?
N'importe qui serait le chef du Parti libéral, les résultats vont être les mêmes pour les Canadiens. Parce qu'ils sont tous en accord. Ils sont tous sur la même page. Ils aiment les politiques de la taxe sur le carbone qui va augmenter chaque année. Ils aiment les politiques de la justice criminelle qui donnent les droits aux les criminels dangereux avant les droits des Canadiens honnêtes. Ils sont tous en accord. Alors, le message pour les Canadiens aujourd'hui est avant de la session du Parlement qui résume la prochaine semaine, c'est avec le gouvernement libéral NPD, rien va changer. N'importe qui serait le chef, n'importe qui est le partenaire dans la coalition, les résultats vont être les mêmes.
Thank you, that's it.
Thank
you.
Do the Conservatives support prorogation? Do you
Thank
support
you.
prorogation, sir? Can you clarify your party's position? Would you support prorogation if the Liberals do it?
Well, first of all, that is a decision just for Justin Trudeau to make. He'll have to explain to Canadians why he wants another week of summer vacation. He'll have to explain to Canadians why, as they've been working hard all summer and working hard in the fall, why he's not going to. But again, at the end of the day, as long as the Liberals are in power, they are all offering the same thing. They are all offering the same policies. No one's talking about undoing the damage. And that's a point I just want to reinforce. It's not that this government has failed to respond to external threats properly. It's that they have caused the problems facing Canadians. They've caused the inflation crisis with their massive money printing and borrowing. They've caused the cost of living crisis with their carbon tax that keeps going up. They've caused the crime and chaos crisis by releasing dangerous offenders, often the very same day that they're arrested in the first place. So all of these problems facing Canadians will not go away as long as the Liberal Party is in power, and only a common sense Conservative government led by Pierre Poilievre will axe the tax, fix the budget, build the homes, and stop the crime so that Canadians can have a high quality of living.
Thank you.
Thanks very much,
Thank you.
everyone. Merci beaucoup.
Qu'est-ce que vous feriez du programme de soins dentaires?
Will your party bring a non-confidence motion?